The reason that I have gathered you here today is to watch me embarrass myself. My name's Morgan, if you didn't know. And if you did know, then stop stalking me. We can't keep meeting like this. Someone is going to start getting suspicious. So, this is my first YouTube video. My first attempt of being a beauty guru. I think it went pretty well. You know, well for me anyway. This is as well as it gets. It's glowy, it's simple, it's basic potato. So, if you want to be basic, you want to glow a little bit, and you want to watch me talk to myself for the next 30 minutes, then keep watching. I don't know how much to use, to be honest. And we're just going to go in with the damp Real Technique sponge and start buffing it into our face. Watch me make disgusting faces as I put this on my face. I realize. This is a really nice foundation. I have really dry skin, and this does not cling to my dry patches at all. The only downside to it is obviously the color is not completely right. I'm really, really, really pale, but I didn't want to get the lightest shade because I didn't want to look dead when I put it on. And when I put my hand up to the screen, because that's how you buy foundation nowadays, it looked like a really good match, but you could never judge it that way, obviously. I'll just keep this on the eyelids as well. And blend it down onto the neck and onto your double chin if you have one. If you don't, good for you. And even onto the lips. I like to be garbage and use foundation as lip primer. This is a really dewy foundation. It is full coverage, but it's not matte. 100% matte anyway. We're going for a natural look. So you just want to make sure that everything is blended in and it looks like your natural skin, just 57 times better. Next we're going to bake a little bit, but not too much. Baking is not something I'm too fond of. No matter what powder I have, it always seems to just settle into my 22-year-old crow's feet and stress and worry wrinkles, which I have plenty of. And we're just using the Coty Airspun powder. I'm just going to put that underneath our eyes. We're not setting it down too much. We're just going to push it into the skin. And especially because our blender is damp, it should just melt right in. And we're just going to put that on the eyelids as well. I'm not going to do any under eye concealer. I'm just going to mainly focus the concealer here in a minute on my problem areas, which I have lots of. I don't really need too much concealer under the eyes on a daily basis. I find that doing this basically is the exact same thing as putting concealer under my eyes, because no matter what I do, it's still going to crease anyway. So we'll just save product. Even on the sides of the nose a little bit. Alright, and we're going to go into Tarte Shapest Tapest. This is in the shade Fair. which is, I believe, the lightest shade, but if it's not, don't sue me. And we're just gonna put that onto our chin, as well as on the bridge of the nose. And anywhere we need a little bit of extra coverage, which on my stress acne. And a little bit on the forehead, because why not? And again, we're going to run that into our face with the damp beauty sponge. This is going to bring a little bit of light to the face. Since it is so light, your skin's going to end up looking like you're laying in a morgue. But once you contour, bronze your face up a little bit, it'll even it out. Again, like I said, this is just basically an everyday look, nothing super fancy. This is the look you want to go for if you need to go somewhere like Walmart, maybe a casual date, or just in general if you don't like going out looking like a potato, which I always end up looking like a potato anyway, but you know, what you gonna do about it? Alright, that's looking nice. Now we're gonna go into a little bit of contour. For that, we're gonna use the NYX Highlight and Contour palette. This thing's really decent. I haven't had it for that long, but I haven't had any bad things to say about it. And we're just gonna go into this shade right here, which is the second shade in the palette. And we're just putting this on a e.l.f. powder blurring brush, which is very densely packed. It's really nice for contour. I don't see why people spend like $90, a whole paycheck, on a brush set when you can get them for 99 cents and they're exactly the same. I'm just gonna tap that off. We're just gonna go, you gotta find basically, you can go like this if you need to know, just right underneath the cheekbone, and we're just gonna focus it back here, keeping it nice and natural, nothing too crazy. You don't ever want to go out looking like you contoured your face. You want to look like that is the natural look of your face. And then we're going to start flicking up. You don't want to blend down, you want to go too far down, you don't want to go too far towards the nose. Just keep this in the hollows of your cheeks. To the other side. Oh. This is basically my everyday makeup. I don't put on 10 pounds of makeup every single day. That's basically just for selfie time. You don't get me wrong, if that's what you love to do, then you do you, but I'm just so lazy. I get up 5 minutes before I need to leave. So we just put on foundation and we move on with our life. And we're just gonna go back in and we're gonna do a little bit to the nose. And this is just following the natural bridge of the nose. Nothing too fancy. And go up a little bit onto the brow. We're just going to carve that out just a little bit to make it look like we have a surgically enhanced nose. And then underneath, a little bit in the center of the bridge just to give that little button. So cute. Now we're going to go back in to a little bit of this darker shade, which I would not suggest just full-on ham contouring your face with it, especially if you're as white as a piece of college rolled paper, such as myself. But this is just going to darken up the bottom part, basically, just underneath. And then if it does get a little bit too muddy, you can always clean it up with some powder or your sponge. And we're just going to move my ratty baby hairs out of the way. And we're just going to lightly draw a line and begin to flick up. It's like instantly losing 10 pounds when you do this. Your face doesn't look as round and potato-like. Other side, not too much, and begin to flick up. Like I've said 50 times already. I'm just now getting the hang of talking to myself, which I'm still sure is going to translate very badly. But you gotta start somewhere. And then from there, a little bit of the darker shade on the nose, under the nose. Done. And we're gonna go back in with that same sponge, which again is damp. And we're just gonna carve that out just a little bit. Letting it fuse into the skin naturally like it lives there. Other side. Retouching the chin. Don't know why. And we're just going to take a little bit on the side of the nose. Again, not baking, just letting it melt into your skin. Excuse me. And for a little pop of highlight, in case it got a little bit too lost in the center, we'll just pop that right there. We're going to go into a little bit of bronzer. If I can find it. I found it. This is just the e.l.f. Sun-Kissed Glow Bronzer. Nothing fancy. They actually sent me this as, I guess, a sample when I ordered from them. And we're just going to go back in with that same brush. And we're just going to bronze up the cheeks just a little bit. This also has a little bit of a shimmer to it, which if you want to skip this step, that's cool. You can get other things like, like the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. That's a cheap option as well. But I like all things glitter because in my past life, I think I was a raccoon. And this is going to add a little bit more warmth to the face. And then we're going to apply this to the forehead as well. Tap off all that excess. just on the hairline. You don't want to come too far down with it. Something's in my hair. Just forget about it. Just pretend like you didn't see it. You won't have to worry about it. And then onto the temples as well. And then barely any product. And onto the jawline. This will create the illusion that your double chin isn't as double chinny. Who doesn't have a double chin nowadays? My 4-year-old has a double chin and she weighs 32 pounds. It's not fat, it's natural, okay? And then a little bit onto the chin. Give us a Jay Leno chin. Yes. And then just to make that more copacetically blend into our face, we're gonna go into the Milani Prep Set Go translucent face powder. You can't see that. Now you can. We're just gonna take this e.l.f. ginormous total face brush. You can barely read that. I think I paid 99 cents for this brush at the Dollar Tree. And we're just gonna dust that all over the face and make sure everything is blend. There I go with that fucking word again. Everything's blending seamlessly into your facial features. And make sure nothing got too harsh. Because like I said, this is supposed to be a more natural look. If I know what that means. Because I kind of don't. Nice, very nice. What now? Brows. I'm doomed because this is not my strong point whatsoever. My brows are pretty bushy as is, which I kind of enjoy. This is just the Anastasia Dip Brow. I use medium brown. Focus. Never mind. Just trust me, it's medium brown. Okay. Okay. This is going to be an Eco Tools brush. This is just one of these double-ended brushes. I use the Define side, which is angled. It's not too fat. It's not too thin. We're just going to pick some of this product up. And we're going to mark these brows. So what I'd like to do is I start, let me get a little bit closer to you. I'm going to start in the center and we're just going to flick up, making natural brow strokes. Well, hair strokes. What the fuck is a brow stroke? I don't know. We're just going to start flicking up, following our natural arch, and then begin to go down. You always want to start with the most product towards the end of the brow, and then when you start running low on product, that's when you start at the beginning of the brow to create that fade. Keep going up. And we're going to force a little bit of an arch that we do have, but we're going to accentuate it a little bit more. Get some more product. Drag that down. And then midway, I usually use a spoolie just to see what's happening up there. Because when you outline, you want to make sure that your hairs are cohesively blending into that outline. You don't want too harsh of just a pomade outline, or else it's going to look like you drew them on, which, I mean, it's so 90s, but I'm just going to continue to brush that in. Go back in. My brows take forever, I'm sorry. Go get a soda, some popcorn, write an email, color an entire coloring book. Something to pass the time. If this is where I lost you, if I didn't lose you like 21 minutes ago. I sure hope I didn't lose you because I'm lonely. Yes. And we're just going to start flicking up towards the beginning. Create a little line underneath. And then flick up once more. Okay. I can work with it. It's not the worst brow I've done. That's an accomplishment. And again, we're going to repeat the atrocity on the other side. I think one problem is this dip brow is a little bit too light. I mean, I have medium brown hair. My hair is not that dark. It has a little bit of a reddish tint to it as well. But my eyebrows tend to grow in super black. So I think I'm gonna have to invest in buying another one of these. To help it match a little bit more. That way my eyebrows aren't so botched all the time. Brow looks a little evil. Look like a Disney villain or some shit. You can work with it, it's okay, it's alright. We're moody. I'm a moody individual. Maybe I should just let people know with my brows not to mess with me. Okay. And we're going to go back up to the front. Again, to flick up for the fade. That nice faded line on the bottom. And there's literally barely any product left on this brush. Okay. We'll settle. Spool you a little bit more just to the front. Got to tame these wild beasts. Going for a woolly kind of look. Sorry. I'm popular. Just kidding, was my mom. She's the only one that cares. Okay. I'm gonna leave it alone. Let's silence this phone. We're gonna go into a little bit of mascara. This is nothing special. This is just the Wet n Wild Mega Wear mascara. Again, cheap, like myself. And we're just gonna pop those on. Pop that on the top lashes. The one thing I will say about this mascara, it's really nice, but the more you build it, the clumpier it gets. If you build it, clumpiness will come. still not over it. That was funny. And we're just going to go to the roots and extend out. And on the other eye as well. Because if you only did it on one eye, that would look odd. But hey girl, like, I'm not trying to dog you if that's what you want to do with your life. I'm sure it's a very vogue look. And I will make sure that I contact them if I do see you doing such things. Nice. We're just gonna pop. Why can't I speak? We're gonna pop this onto our lower lash line. I don't mainly focus this on the roots as much. I like to just put it towards the end and drag down. That way it doesn't get too clumpy. God, I make that face too much. I'm pretty sure in due time I will learn how to entertain myself whilst talking to myself without making ridiculous faces. But it's a problem. I realize this. Someone needs to send help. Nice. So next we're going to go into just a little bit of highlight. And I think we'll use Flexitarian by ColourPop. You can't see that either. And it's upside down. Just see it? Sure hope you did, because that opportunity has passed. This is just it's a pearlescent highlighter. It's really creamy. All of their stuff is super creamy, you know, besides their new little single pot ones. My nose is runny. Let's see. Yeah, we'll do this. It's like kind of like a gold shade, but it's not full on bronzy. It still is a very pale highlighter. And we're just using a Wet n Wild. I'm assuming this is like a contour brush. I don't know. They don't have names on them. I'm sure the packaging had a name on it, but that is long since gone. Probably like 2 years ago when I bought this brush, because I use the same dusty ass brushes every 5 minutes of the day, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's so glowy. I will say that there are glitter flecks in these, so if that bothers you and you don't like to talk to extraterrestrials with your face, then I would suggest not getting it. Because you can probably see this glitter from Mars, and they're probably hella jealous. I'm sure they ain't got that ColourPop up there. It's so pretty. I just want to bathe in it. I would just drop this into a warm bath after a long day and use it as a bath bomb. That is how obsessed with it I am. And it's so buttery that I would consider putting it on my toast. Don't eat it. Just a suggestion. We're just going to pop that onto the bridge of our nose. And I have a really big obsession with Rudolph highlights on the nose. I'm a tip of the nose highlight whore. Can't stop, won't stop. Never will stop, so don't ask me. I'm blinding you all. Close your eyes, put on some shades. to, and we're not really doing much to the eyes. We're going to keep them super simple, super basic, basic AF. We're just going to take our beauty sponge and set it here so we're not pulling on our skin too much. We're just going to open the eye a little. This is Milk Jumbo Eye Pencil by NYX. And that's just going to help brighten the eye just a little bit. Yes. And we'll go back in with a little bit of mascara on the lower lashes just to get that product off of the lashes. So it did transfer just a little. And we're going to go into lips. This is taking much longer than it should have. This is just Aquarius 2. It's the Kathleen Lights Color Pop Edition, however you want to say it. This is my favorite lippy of all time. It's the Ultra Matte Lip. Just going to pop that onto our mouth, do our giant ass lips. We savage it with no lip liner. Join the movement. And we're not going to overline. Sometimes I do for no apparent reason because my lips are already ginormous as it is. This does dry down completely matte, so it has a little bit of a stickiness to it, a little tackiness, but other than that, I have no issues with it. I've never really had a true issue with anything by ColourPop. Everything they do is perfect. Vogue, sign me up. Next, we're going to do the fun part, which is getting a little detail brush. This is just the Vander brush, whatever that means, I don't know. Somebody got me a set of them for Christmas, and I just use them just for various things, sometimes eyeliner. But for this, we're gonna pop on our beauty mark. I already have a beauty mark, which you probably can't see it because the foundation covers it. So we're gonna put back the beauty mark on top of the beauty mark I already have that's covered by foundation that you can't see. So we're gonna put a beauty mark back on top of it. Beauty mark inception. We're just gonna set this here. Just the slightest amount of pressure. You don't want it to look like you have a giant boil on your face. Get natural and blend into the skin. Perfect. And then if it needs to be lightened a little, you can either go in with your finger or the beauty sponge again. Lastly, we're going to pop on a little bit of blush to make us look a little less dead. Because if you have to be a potato, you might want to be one that actually still sprouts, so you're useful. If you have to be a potato, I'm begging you not to be a dead potato. What am I looking for? Oh, sorry, sidetracked. We're gonna go back in with that same contour brush we used. Make sure there's no product on it. I need to get more of these, but instead I just mix it all together like garbage and put it all on my face with the same brush. This is the Milani Romantic Rose blush. And it looks like a rose. So romantic. We're just going to pop that onto the apples of our cheeks. Not too much. Nice. I think we have completed it. We have completed our first YouTube video. I'm sure it's not as decent as you thought it was going to be, but I like to surprise people with my mediocre attempts of being fabulous. If you enjoyed watching me embarrass myself, subscribe. If you didn't enjoy me embarrassing myself, subscribe.